How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Amatsutsumi. I believe this is the death day. We will find out whether or not Kyoko will sacrifice herself for her perspective or imagining or creation of Suzuka, whatever you want to call her. It's not the real Suzuka. If she wants her to live, she's going to have to die, and vice versa. Suzuka would have to sacrifice her brand new existence for Kyoko to actually continue to live, which, by the way, is the right answer. We want the actual person here to be the one that lives, but that aside, I guess we'll have to see what happens here, because, I mean, from my perspective, obviously Suzuka should, just go away and Kyoko is saved, but I guess there's a lot more to it. Kyoko feels as though she does not deserve to live, along with a bunch of other things that we have heard and explored about throughout this little story here. But let us continue on and see what exactly will happen. After a night of fitful sleep, I wake up at the break of dawn. I decide to take a walk, hoping that the fresh air will calm me down. I guess we really are not tied to Kyoko anymore. The streets are very quiet early in the morning, but even so, I can sense the bustle of human activity inside the buildings. Today is the day of the water lantern ceremony. Oh gosh, of course it is. That is perfectly lined up, isn't it? Kyoko is probably still asleep, but I wonder what Suzuka is doing. As Kyoko's ideal Suzuka, that is honestly the best way to describe this Suzuka. It's hard for me to quickly describe, her, because it's all from Kyoko. What did she think when she visited her family? She seemed to have felt nostalgic about Koichi, but strictly speaking, that emotion wasn't something that came directly from her. It was a shadow created by Kyoko based on her imagination of what the Suzuka she knew would have felt. This Suzuka isn't a ghost form from the soul of the original Suzuka. One extreme interpretation is that Kyoko is throwing away her current body and life and rebuilding herself as a ghost in Suzuka's image. The question is, what does that mean? Is it just the folly of a living human being acting for her own self-satisfaction? With no actual connection to the dead at all? When you've lost something with no hope of getting it back, you can't help but want to fill that hole in somehow. That's a very natural emotional reaction. The majority of people are probably incapable of ever fully accepting the concept of death, their own or anyone else's. True that. All they can do when someone dies is to keep living with the discomfort and dissonance of it. I think that's why people have funerals, visit graves, and hold water lantern ceremonies. By mourning the dead, they process those feelings. I only hope that Kyoko herself can admit these things. And I can only pray that tonight's water lantern ceremony will provide a good opportunity for her to process her own feelings. Yeah, coincidence such. As I continue wandering down the road, I suddenly run into Suzuka. She really looks nothing like a ghost anymore. She looks like a normal little girl. It sure is. But there might have been something that drew us together. She admits it, smiling wryly.
私は京子の魂からできてるけど、その媒介になったのは誠くんだから、何かどこかでちょっとだけつながっているものがあるのかもしれないね。
What did you think seeing the Asakawa household?
不思議な感じだったよ。なんていうか、確認かな。
A confirmation.
こういう家族の中で育った人が京子の中の鈴鹿、自分を生み出したんだなっていうご先祖様を見ている気分ってとこ。
She laughs.
すごく明るくて楽しそうで、ああいいなこういうのって思った。懐かしさも感じたけど、自分があそこに収まるようなそういうイメージは湧かなかったよ。
I see. As someone who used his kotodama to infiltrate the Oribe household, I don't really know how to feel about that.
だからやっぱり自分が消えるべきかなって改めて思った。消 消えるというのも正確じゃないかな。京子の中に帰る感じ？
Yeah, it is strange. The Suzuka was born from Kyoko's own desires, and yet she accepts the need for her to disappear. Meanwhile, Kyoko herself shows no signs of accepting that. It seems contradictory. Yeah, it's an argument with herself when you think about it. Wait, no. They're actually the same, in the sense that they both want to sacrifice themselves for the other. I do think Suzuka's version of that desire is more logical and objective, though.
ちょうど今夜は灯籠流しもあるし、お別れするにはなかなかいいタイミングだよね。
Yes, but Kyoko seems to be thinking that she'll be the one who's going to be saying goodbye tonight.
はあ、そう。意固地で困ったね。まあ、私が言うのも変な話だけど、私と誠くんの二人で頑張って説得するしかないかな。
Yes, I hope she listens to us in the end. In the worst case, well, I'll have to think about using my kotodama.
まあ、ここで悩んでいてもしょうがない。やるだけやってみるしかないでしょ。とにもかくにも夜だね。それまで束の間の生を楽しむことにするよ。
She smiles brightly and stretches. Yeah, fingers crossed for, everybody in the end, I guess. Suzuka said that she wanted to wander around town until nightfall, so I let her go on her way as I returned home. I told Kyoko that we were going to meet up with Suzuka at the shrine when the ceremony started. Kyoko was working harder than ever this morning, helping out at the cafe. She swept outside the entrance, wiped down the windowsills, helped with the cooking, and even tried her hand at being a waitress. I was worried about her worsening health, but at least from the looks of it, she seemed well enough to be up and about. Isn't that, not motivation necessarily, but the human body is weird. You can get like a burst of energy even when you're feeling like absolute crap. And I don't know what that is. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I can't think of what that actually is. Even I guess if you're on death's door, you could be like working hard as ever. Maybe she was pulling together her last reserves of strength, thinking that she'd have no use for them soon. Yeah, but there's like an actual term for that, I just can't think of it. Then in the afternoon, she headed out towards the shrine. I went with her and helped sweep the grounds again. After that, she served tea and snacks to the water lantern ceremony crew and went and said hello to various people, excuse me. I'm sure none of them suspected that she intended it to be her last time meeting them. I wonder if this is going to be a sad episode. Once we were done helping out at the shrine, we returned to Cafe Origami, and Kyoko went to Kokoro's room to rest for a while. She must have been tired after the day's work, and wanted to be fresh for the ceremony. While she slept, I manned the counter in the cafe. What a long day. That seems annoying having to go back and forth, and it's just constant labor. Or am I the lazy one?
あれ？もしかしなくても、兄さんも灯籠流し？
After getting permission from Azuki-san, I'm preparing my things to head out when Kokoro calls out to me. Yeah, it only comes around once a year, so I thought I'd check it out. You're going with Hotaru, right? I remember she mentioned that during dinner last night.
一緒に行く？
Ah, no thanks. I wouldn't want to get in your way.
邪魔なんてことありえないよ。変な遠慮しなくていいのに。
Well, actually, I already told someone else I'd go with them. I think of Suzuka. I don't know if she counts as someone else since she's a ghost. No, actually, she's a fragment of Kyoko's soul. But I can't explain all that stuff to Kokoro now, even if I wanted to.
あ、そうなんだ。じゃあしょうがないね。
She nods in understanding. The way she gives up quickly and doesn't pry, I'm really thankful for it right now.
残念だけど、また来年。
Yeah, next year. I don't know whether it will be possible for me to stay here for another full year, but I hope that someday I can go to a water lantern ceremony with Kokoro and Hotaru.
あと、私もあんまりのんびりしていられる時間じゃなかった。そろそろ出かける準備しなきゃ。そういえば、マナちゃんはどうするのかな？
I don't know, but I guess she's probably not interested. A little while ago, I saw her burying her nose in a manga. From the looks of it, she's going to be reading that manga until bedtime.
そっか。それもまたまなちゃんらしいね。
She laughs and then leaves the living room to get ready. As she leaves, Kyoko enters quietly.
お待たせしました。
That's what you're wearing to the ceremony?
はい。これを着ると気持ちが引き締まるので。
Cutesy clothes look good on her too, but in the end, her shrine maiden clothes suit her best of all. Are you all ready to go?
はい。大丈夫です。行きましょう。
Oh, who's gonna die? Who's gonna get sacrificed? Once we step outside, Kyoko nonchalantly holds her hand out to me. Silently, I take her hand in mine and squeeze it. Her hand is rather cold to the touch. I think it shows how little life she must have left in her. Without a word, she starts walking somewhat awkwardly. As she walks, she looks hard at everything we pass by, as if to burn the images into her mind. She must be thinking that this is the last time she'll see the scenery. Kyoko, how are you feeling? Are you really okay walking this fast? Kyoko?
はい、そうですね。
Were you listening to me?
すみません。聞いていませんでした。
How are you feeling?
それでしたら、はい、大丈夫です。
You know, it's gonna be really awkward when she actually, doesn't die tonight. And, she comes back and is like, oh wow, I didn't need to basically prepare for my fucking death. I think I've maybe seen, in movies and shows, that sort of, reaction from people. They get prepared for the absolute worst, and then the worst doesn't come, and it kind of takes them aback. Okay, if you say so.
ご心配をおかけして、申し訳ありません。
It's fine. I squeeze her hand again. By the time we reach the foot of the staircase up to the shrine, the sky has turned from red to a deep gray. One reason it took so long, was that so many people, especially seniors, stopped us to give their regards to Kyoko. Part of it must have been because everyone is headed to the ceremony and Kyoko is wearing a shrine maiden uniform. Each person didn't take very long, but there were many of them, and some of them also wanted to chat about this and that. Suzuka and I didn't settle on a specific time to meet at the shrine, but I'm sure she's already waiting for us by now. And is she? When we finally arrive at the shrine, Suzuka immediately comes out to meet us. As I expected, she had arrived first.
こんばんは。二人とも思ったより遅かったね。ごめんなさい。途中で知り合いの方からいろいろ声をかけられて。その格好だもん。目立つよね。
Suzuka laughs as she inspects Kyoko's costume.
すごく似合ってる。決まってるっていうのかな。綺麗で立派だよ。京子。ありがとう。さてと、じゃあ早速だけど移動しない？もっと近くで見たいんだ。灯籠流し。はい。
Okay. Led by Suzuka, we start walking down towards the lake. Oh boy. By the time we arrive, the water lantern ceremony has already started. Ooh, look at that water. Countless pale lights flicker upon the black surface of the water. It's a beautiful magical sight. The main group seems to be behind a bend in the coastline from here. We can't see them, but we can see their lanterns float out on the water. That and the relative lack of people here gives the scene a mystical, almost ethereal quality. It's a good place to have a difficult, complicated conversation.
綺麗だね。ほんと。
Suzuka and Kyoko look out onto the lake, entranced by the lights of the lanterns floating out in the water. The two of them, both preparing to say their farewells, are looking at the same beautiful sight, and are being moved in the same way. This is for the thumbnail. I always have to, specify or explain why I allowed the UI to go away. This game is not really easy with just, picking out that one frame and then taking my little snapshot. I actually have to like
昔か
get
ら
everything out of the way
水
first.
辺は生死の境に例えられる。だから灯籠流しは光を魂に見立てて向こう側あの世に送る儀式。そうだよね。
Suzuka asks Kyoko, her tone lighthearted, and she shows no sign that she's talking about herself.
そうです。
Kyoko nods, answering after a small pause. The real Suzuka probably never knew what this Suzuka just said about earth and water, life and death. And I'm sure Kyoko hesitated to answer because she realized that,
ま
excuse
あ
me.
そういうものって
I can't speak
結
tonight.
局全部生きている人が自分たちのために考えたことだけど、でもせっかくだから私がそれに便乗させてもらって向こうへ行くのも悪くない。ダメです。それは鈴鹿ではなく私です。どうして？せっかく助かった命じゃない。大事にしてほしいな。その点私はそもそも本物の鈴鹿じゃない。京子の願望から生まれた偽物だし。違います。鈴鹿は偽物なんかじゃ、ただの作り物なんかじゃありません。そうだね。京子を成長させるために生まれたんだから、ただのではないかな。
She puts away her smile and looks into Kyoko's eyes, her face serious now.
私はこのために生まれたんだよ。京子がずっと抱えてきたもやもやした気持ちを解消するためにね。後悔と罪悪感から京子を解放するために消える。それが
This time Kyoko has nothing to say in reply. All she can do is open her eyes wide, keeping them fixed on Suzuka's face.
残念だけど京子、鈴鹿本人になるには私は多分よくできすぎていたんだと思うよ。それはその分だけ京子の魂が優れていたってことなんだけどね。
Suzuka smiles gently.
だから受け入れて京子。私は言ってみれば崩壊を遂げるの。ダメです、ダメです、そんなの。鈴鹿はこれから生きていくんです。家族や友達と一緒に新しい人生を謳歌するんです。鈴鹿が死んだ後、私だけが味わっていた幸せをちゃんと受け取るんです。気持ちは嬉しいけど遠慮しておくよ。きっと本物の鈴鹿もそう思うはずだからね。どうしてそんな風に言うんですか？私も鈴鹿も今の京子に死んでほしくないからだよ。京子が生きて幸せでいてくれることがすごく嬉しいからだよ。だからお願い、私を生き返らせようなんて思わないで。鈴鹿。
Kyoko is speechless at Suzuka's words. She searches for what to say, but coming up short, she turns to me for help.
Makoto-kun!
I'm sorry, Kyoko. I can't give you the kind of answer you're looking for.
Makoto-kun も認めてくれないんですか？
You goddamn
私の
right.
気持ちを。
I understand your feelings and I respect them. But what I can't accept is your decision to throw your life away.
ほらね、誠くんもこう言ってるでしょ。だから私と鈴鹿とちゃんとお別れしよう、京子。
Oh man. She smiles and tries to shake Kyoko's hand, but Kyoko doesn't respond.
私は鈴鹿に生きていてほしいんです。京子の気持ちは嬉しいけどそれは無理だよ。
You can't tell somebody who's already dead to live. It's just unrealistic, you
京
know?
子を死なせてまで生き延びたいなって思えないもん、私自身が。
A nostalgic look comes over Suzuka's face.
本物の鈴鹿も きっとそうだったんじゃないかな。だから、鈴鹿のためにも、京子は。
私だって、鈴鹿の命を犠牲にしてまで生きようなんて思ってなかった。鈴鹿がいなくなってから死にたいって思ったこと、一度や二度じゃありません。湖に身を投げようと思ったこともあります。ここで死ねば、鈴鹿に会えるかもしれないって。
Oh, that got grim.
だけど、私の命は鈴鹿に助けてもらったものだから、私が勝手に捨てていいものじゃないから、死ぬ権利がないから生きなくちゃいけないって、必死に言い聞かせてきたのに。
Kyoko. I've never seen her bare her soul like this.
ずっと、苦しんでたんだね。
Suzuka's eyes glisten with tears.
よしよし。今までよく頑張ったね。偉い偉い。
She smiles gently and clasps Kyoko's hands tighter.
私もね、ちょっと思うよ。本物の鈴鹿もひどいよねって。一人でかっこよく死んじゃうなんて。無責任だったよね。
そうです。身勝手すぎます。鈴鹿のバカ。どうして死んじゃったんですか？私を置いて、いなくなってしまったんですか？
Large tears roll from the corners of Kyoko's eyes as she begins to sob.
悲しかった。寂しかった。辛かった。せっかくできた友達だったのに、これからもっともっとたくさん遊んで、たくさん楽しいことを分かち合えると思ってたのに、あんまりです。せめて幽霊でもいいから、会いに来てほしかった。
ごめんね、京子。鈴鹿も、ずっと謝りたかったんだよ。京子を一人にして、悪かったねって。
Kyoko finally returns Suzuka's grip on her hand.
そうです。どれだけ、私がどれだけ寂しい思いをしたと思っ。
本当にごめんね、京子。よしよし、鈴鹿に言いたかった文句、私が受け止めて、持っていくから。
Yeah, that's not accurate. You're not going to the other side necessarily. You're just going back to Kyoko.
京子。
I know she's probably saying all of this to make her feel better and to reassure her and all that, but you know.
鈴鹿も、本当は死にたくなんてなかったんだよ。
Who does?
あの時、
Actually, retract that.
暗くて冷たい水の中で苦しくて、それでもなんとか助かりたくて精一杯もがいた。私だって京子とお別れなんかしたくなかった。
She clasps Kyoko's hand even harder as their voice breaks. Suzuka begins to weep as well.
鈴鹿。
でもね、いよいよ、これはダメだ。自分はもう助かりそうにないって薄れていく意識の中で、本当に心から祈ったの。せめて残された京子はどうか幸せでありますようにってね。だから私のためにももっともっと幸せになってよ、京子。
Wiping her tears with one hand and smiling once again, Suzuka steps away from Kyoko and slowly starts wading into the water.
名残惜しいけど、そろそろお別れしよう。さよなら、京子。
鈴鹿、待って。
Despite Kyoko's plaintive cry, Suzuka continues to step away from the shore without answering. She walks slowly, leaving not even a ripple on the water's surface.
言ってはダメ。
Damn, this music is hitting hard. Wait a minute. I hold Kyoko tight as she struggles, trying to follow Suzuka.
話してください、誠くん。
I'm sorry, I can't.
そうそう。ちゃんと誠くんの言うこと聞かないとね。こんなに京子のことを大切に考えてくれてるんだから、悲しませたり、辛い思いをさせたらダメだよ。
She looks back at us and smiles softly.
誠くんも、改めて、京子のこと、よろしくね。
I nod wordlessly.
ねえ、待って。お願い。鈴鹿、行かないで。やっぱり、鈴鹿じゃなくて何もできない私が。
In contrast to Kyoko's anguished state, Suzuka is very calm as she looks back at us. Suddenly, she looks like she's remembered something.
ああ、そうそう。京子に言っておきたいことがあるの忘れてた。京子ね、一つ勘違いしてるよ。
勘違い？
そう、京子ってさ、自分は鈴鹿に声をかけてもらって、それで友達になった。そう思い込んでるでしょ？何せ、私の記憶もそうなってたから。でも、違ったんだよ。
What do you mean? Suzuka flashes an impish smile at Kyoko, who is open-mouthed in confusion.
声をかけてもらったのは、むしろ鈴鹿の方だった。親と喧嘩して、家を飛び出して、神社の境内で座り込んでいた鈴鹿に、京子が声をかけて友達になった。それが始まりなんだよ。自分でも思い出せるはずだよ。ほら、胸に手を当てて、よく考えて。
Kyoko puts one hand on her chest and presses her temple with the other, frowning deeply.
だいぶ強く思い込んでたから、難しいかな。誠くん、ちょっと手伝ってあげてもらえる？
Suzuka looks at me. I immediately understand what she wants me to do. Kyoko, remember the first time you met Suzuka? I whispered the kotodama into Kyoko's ear.
思い出した？
はい、そうです。そうでした。
Man, it's like I just got flashbanged. We were staring at like pretty dark imagery for a bit, and now it's bright white light. Lovely. Understanding slowly dawns in her eyes as the memory comes back.
私、あの日、たまたま家のお手伝いが早く終わったので、境内の脇でのんびりおやつを食べようと思って外に出たら、
悔し泣きしてる私を見つけたんだよね。
Suzuka laughs gently.
はい。でも、どう声をかけたらいいかわからなくて、私、思わず、これ、食べるって、持っていたおせんべいを差し出したら、顔を上げた鈴鹿が涙をこぼしながらそれに食いついて。
そうそう。それ食べたら、なんかケロッと気持ちが収まってさ。結構単純だよね、私って。
そうでした。鈴鹿って、そういう子でしたね。
Kyoko starts smiling too, remembering that day.
自分が泣いていたこと、恥ずかしくて人に知られたくなかったから、私、京子にお願いしたの。絶対、このことは誰にも人に言わないでね。秘密にしてね。京子はほんと律儀だから、多分それを真に受けすぎちゃったんだと思う。
As Suzuka laughs, Kyoko starts to smile through her tears and confusion too. But, why does this Suzuka know about that? This Suzuka was created from Kyoko's memories, so how can she know something Kyoko had already forgotten? In fact, she even knows things Kyoko couldn't ever have known. Before, the Suzuka used to know and do things the real Suzuka wouldn't have. And that's how I concluded she wasn't the real Suzuka's ghost. But if that's the case...
京子は自分のこと、引っ込み思案だと思ってるけど、 私からすれば、思慮深い女の子だよ。それでいて、いざという時には、踏み出せる勇気もある。誰にでも優しくできる心を持っている。幽霊の私を大事にしてくれるくらいだもん。そんな女の子が何もできないなんてありえないよ。私のことを引きずって悩み続けていない限りはね。私はもういいの。こうやって京子にまた会えて満足したから。
Kyoko goes limp in my arms. She too has finally started to realize the change that's come over Suzuka.
成長した京子の姿を見られた。家族は前向きに暮らしてた。だからもう大丈夫。
鈴鹿、やっぱりあなたは。
Suzuka doesn't reply to her question.
ねえ京子、私のことを思ってくれるのなら私のお願い。
鈴鹿、何を。
あなたは私の分まで生きて幸せになって。
Something about her voice strikes Kyoko differently this time. It's almost as if Suzuka is speaking a kotodama.
それとね、京子の口からお別れの言葉を聞かせて。それが私の最後のお願い。
Kyoko's hand grips mine with crushing force. I say nothing and gently place my other hand over hers. She doesn't speak either, but her feelings come across all the same. Indecision, confusion, deep regret from a parting come too soon. And more than anything else, the desire to grant Suzuka's last wishes. But sometimes it's important to speak your words out loud.
ありがとうございます、誠くん。
Because sometimes you have to choose no matter how sad you are, and no matter how hard it may be.
鈴鹿もありがとう。あの時助けてくれて本当にありがとう。
Sometimes you have to decide which path you can be satisfied with.
鈴鹿が自分の命と引き換えにしたことは悲しかったし、少しだけ恨みました。でも鈴鹿の命と交換にした価値を示さないといけないから、私なりに必死で頑張ってきました。だけど鈴鹿に比べたら全然だと思います。鈴鹿だったら何をやっても私以上にできたはずですから。だけどそんな私のことを大事だって言ってくれる素敵な友人と出会いました。そんな友人を増やして楽しそうなことに挑戦して幸せになる努力をしてみようと思います。恋をしたり家族を作ったり、そうやって鈴鹿ができなかったことをしていきたいと思います。私は私で鈴鹿にはなれませんから、私なりに幸せな人生を目指したいと思います。最後のその時に私自身の人生に満足だと胸を張れるように頑張りますから。いつの日かまた鈴鹿に会える日が来ると思います。その時は幸せだったことを報告して自慢してみせます。鈴鹿が羨むぐらい幸せになりますから。だから私はもう大丈夫ですから。さようなら鈴鹿。また会う時まで安らかに眠ってください。
A heat wells up from deep inside my body, mixing with Kyoko's words to form a kotodama. The kotodama races across the water and reaches Suzuka.
ありがとう京子。あの時助けられてよかったよ。
Her outlines begin to disintegrate into a faint light.
私の分まで楽しんで生きてね。京子の報告楽しみに待ってるから。
Starting from her edges, she begins to transform into tiny particles of light that drift up into the night sky. They seem to travel up a river in the sky, disappearing as they cross over to the other side.
じゃあね。
Damn, bro, I can't believe she just got Thanos snapped right in front of our eyes. Kotodama really is powerful. Soon we can no longer see her form. All that's left is a streak of light that rises at least into the sky, or at last into the sky, and disappears. Well, that was fun. A little emotional, I would say. I kind of like, makes you think. Was there some sort of connection at the very end there with the fake Suzuka and whatever the real Suzuka, whatever happened to her, if she's a ghost somewhere or if she has moved on or whatever, what happened there, you know? She was able to truthfully, seemingly from the real Suzuka, communicate. Very interesting. My conclusion is that she probably just gained something from visiting her family, and I don't know. What's left around us is darkness and solitude and water. That Suzuka was standing before us just moments ago now seems almost like a dream. Kyoko is crouching at the shoreline, staring silently into the dark water.
私、ちゃんとお別れできたでしょうか?
I'll give it a good 8 out of 10. She murmurs without turning to face me. You did. I crouch down next to her on the beach. Putting my arm around her shoulders, I draw into her a hug. Or I draw her into a hug. That's a sentence. It was a good sending off. You did well, Kyoko, good job. Just like Suzuka did earlier, I quietly rub Kyoko's back.
Makoto-kun.
Her tears begin to flow again as if a dam has broken as she sobs in my arms. Yeah, I don't want to hear that. She presses her face into my chest as she continues to cry her heart out. The night breeze has become a little chilly as it continues to gently stroke our cheeks and hair. Though she's grieving now, curled up in a heap on the sand, the Kyoko I know will surely stand up again and keep moving forward. One day she'll come back to this place standing tall with a smile on her face. And then we'll push her into the lake, right? Actually, to be totally honest with you guys, her whole progression, her development in this story has been astounding. And knowing that after we go through her route, which if it's like Kokodo's will be very short and then we just kind of continue along, this is all permanent. This story has happened, and going forward her character is permanently changed for the better. Some time has passed since we said goodbye to Suzuka. Kyoko is slowly but surely regaining her strength. She still hasn't totally recovered from her ordeal, but I can feel her determination to keep moving forward. Of course, now that we're free to move more than 10 meters apart, there's no reason for her to live with us anymore. She has returned to living at the shrine and is working there even harder than before. Suzuka's summoning probably wasn't due to my and Kyoko's powers overlapping alone. The shrine was a special place for Kyoko and Suzuka when they were children. It was where they first met. And at this point, I can only guess, but maybe the real Suzuka's soul was wandering amongst the memories that fill this place. Kyoko has sworn anew to protect this sacred place that's so full of her memories with Suzuka. Even Koichi has started visiting once in a while. It seems half the reason he comes is to eat Kyoko's snacks, though.
すみません。結局掃除を手伝っていただいて。
It's faster when we work together.
おかげさまで助かりました。
She bows to me in gratitude and then puts her hand to her chest and looks into my eyes.
本当に、私が今こうしていられるのは、誠くんのおかげです。何から何まで、お世話になりました。ありがとうございます。
You don't have to thank me, we're friends after all, aren't we?
はい。でもやっぱり、お礼を言いたいです。
She smiles gently.
鈴鹿に助けられ、誠くんに助けられ、本当に、いろんな方に助けていただいて、私は生きてきたんだなって、今回改めて思いました。だから、これからは私が誰かを助けられるように、頑張りたいと思います。
That's good. That's how the chain of human society is built, I think, by passing our thoughts and wishes forward to new people. Everyone dies eventually. Each human being, no matter who they are, will one day leave this world. But if someone is there to remember them and carry out their will in some form, then that remains and human society carries on or continues on. Maybe that's really humans' best way to honor the dead.
そうですね。人のつながりって、私が思っていたよりも、はるかに素晴らしいものだったんだなって思います。これからはもっと、たくさんの人とつながっていきたいです。
You go, girl. Communication.
はい。
She smiles in a way I've never seen before. It's like a flower blooming in front of my eyes. She's beautiful.
誠くんのことも、助けられるようになりたいです。
You've already helped me many times over.
私は一生かかっても返しきれないほどお世話になったと思ってますから。
You're so dramatic, Kyoko. I suppose that part of her will never change.
ちっとも大げさなんかじゃありません。
She looks as if she's stealing herself or something.
私、本気です。ずっと死ぬまで、誠くんのおそばで仕えさせていただけたら、と。
Huh? Do you mean... At some point, she said something about becoming my personal shrine maiden. Was that not a joke? Oh, here we go. Here we go. I want to be with Kyoko forever will give us her route. Kyoko is a dear friend. We just, you know, we give her the what is it called? The friend pass? No, the not the cock block. What? Damn it, I can't remember the terms. I'm getting old. Let me save the game here. Let me save it here on good old 13. And then I'll save one here on 14, and this will be us going forward. Because we are going to do her route. I want to be with you forever too, Kyoko.
ありがとうございます。でも、なんと言いますか。
She takes a deep breath before continuing.
誠くん、私、誠くんのことが好きです。だから、ずっとおそばにいたいというのは、つまり...
Oh, what I meant earlier was friend zone. Damn, I really am getting old. I can't remember all the hip terms and shit. Yes, that's what I meant too. I love you too, Kyoko. Kyoko?
ごめんなさい。今の、本気ですか？
Yes.
本当に、私でいいんですか？
Yes. I'm not just okay with you, you're the one I want.
冗談とか、気の迷いではなく...
If you don't believe me, do you want me to use my kotodama power to swear it as a kotoage?
いえ、そこまでしていただかなくても...
Slowly, tentatively, she takes a step towards me. And then...
嬉しいです。本当に。
Her eyes filling with tears, she leaps into my arms. What if that was just the route? Like, it doesn't go any further than that? The credits just roll here? I'd be kind of cool with it, to be honest. Not that, like, I'm, like, sick of Kyoko or her character anymore, but it's like, in a way, like, okay, her story's done, let's move on. I don't want to get sick of her. Okay, well, whatever's going on here, we'll wait till the next episode. I will admit that, like, so far, you know, we're only going into our second route here, but after that, I think we're about halfway through the game. At least route-wise, I'm pretty sure. Makoto is falling in love, obviously rather quickly, for the sake of, you know, let's progress the shit out of this story, but the reasons that he is falling in love are pretty damn realistic. Well, not realistic, but they're very understandable. They're not like, oh, it's time for the next waifu, we gotta tell her that we're in love with her. I mean, take Kokoro, for example. He, you know, grows close to her after she rescues him, introduces him to an actual modern society of a sort, and begins to care for him. And they care for each other, and then there's all the other complications that we don't need to remember. That was really good for an actual connection building. And here we had this whole... they had to be close together, Kyoko and Makoto, as I guess they popped out a ghost of some sort, And they had this whole thing that they were both kind of involved in, Kyoko more directly, but they both had involvement, and it allowed them to grow and understand each other a lot more. So after all of that, yeah, of course you're going to be really interested in that character, or really interested in that person. Romantically? Maybe. Or maybe not, I don't know, but it's all understandable so far, and that I can really respect. The human relationships that we're seeing here are told really damn well. I'm actually really impressed. So I guess in the next episode, we'll really jump into the Kyoko route. Should take us a few episodes, and then we move on to Mana, I believe is next, which I'm also kind of dreading. I don't really like your character, but maybe that'll change. Thank you all for watching this episode. Excuse me. If you all enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I hope you guys placed your bets on who was living and dying, because, well, you gotta pay up. And I will see you all in the next episode. Take it easy.